Be strong and courageous, not because you feel ready, not because you have all the answers, not because the path ahead is clear, but because you are not alone. Strength does not always feel like confidence. Sometimes it feels like standing when you would rather hide. Sometimes it feels like breathing when fear tightens your chest. Sometimes it feels like taking one more step when every part of you wants to stop. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision not to let fear decide your future. God does not speak these words into comfort. He speaks them into uncertainty. Joshua was standing at the edge of a promise, but also at the edge of the unknown. Moses was gone. The wilderness was behind him, and ahead, a land filled with obstacles, battles, resistance, and risk. This was not a gentle moment. It was a defining one. And into that moment, God did not give Joshua a map. He gave him a command. Be strong, be courageous, not because you are capable, but because I am with you. So often we believe strength means never trembling, never questioning, never doubting. But biblical strength looks different. It looks like obedience when understanding is missing. It looks like faith when clarity is absent. It looks like movement when certainty has not yet arrived. Strength is not loud. It is steady. Courage is not dramatic. It is faithful. And God knows the human heart. He knows how easily fear settles in, how quickly doubt multiplies, how silently discouragement spreads. That is why he says, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Fear paralyzes. Discouragement drains. Fear whispers, what if I fail? Discouragement murmurs, why try? Fear imagines disaster. Discouragement forgets promise. And God speaks into both, not with judgment, not with pressure, with presence. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Not only in victory, not only in safety, not only when things make sense, wherever, in confusion, in waiting, in transition, in change, in moments when you feel small and the world feels too big. God does not promise that the road will be easy. He promises that you will not walk it alone. This is the kind of strength God calls you into, not the kind that never needs help, but the kind that knows where to find it, not the kind that never feels weak, but the kind that refuses to quit, not the kind that always feels brave, but the kind that moves forward anyway. Courage is not born from certainty. It is born from trust. Trust that God sees what you cannot. Trust that He knows what you do not. Trust that even when you cannot trace His hand, you can still trust His heart. There will be days when courage feels natural, and there will be days when it feels impossible, days when strength feels like a mountain, and days when it feels like a whisper. Both count. God does not measure courage by size. He measures it by surrender. It takes courage to obey when you do not understand. It takes courage to believe when you do not see. It takes courage to begin when you are afraid of the end. And God does not scold you for trembling. He invites you to trust. He does not say, be strong because you are enough. He says, be strong because I am with you. That changes everything. You do not have to be fearless. You just have to be faithful. You do not have to know the whole journey. You just have to take the next step. You do not have to carry tomorrow. You just have to trust today. Courage is built one decision at a time. The decision to get up, the decision to try again, the decision to pray instead of panic, the decision to hope instead of hide. And God walks with you through each one. He does not rush you. He does not abandon you. He does not shame you. He walks, step by step, moment by moment, fear by fear. There will be moments when you feel unqualified, moments when you feel unprepared, moments when you feel like someone else should be here instead of you. But God does not call the ready. He makes ready the called. And His presence is not temporary. It is not conditional. It is not fragile. Wherever you go, he goes, into your doubts, into your fears, into your questions, into your future. So when your heart begins to shake, remember, you are not facing this alone. When your mind begins to spiral, remember, God is still here. When your strength feels thin, remember, His is not. Be strong, not because you feel powerful, but because God is faithful. Be courageous. Not because you are fearless, but because God is present. And presence changes everything. You are not walking into uncertainty alone. You are walking with the one who already knows the end. So step forward, not perfectly, not bravely, not confidently, but faithfully, because courage is not about how you feel. It is about who you trust. And God has not left you, not here, not now, not ever.